You know how in sci-fi movies there's always that incredible computer that can solve problems that seem, well, impossible? A machine that can invent new medicines on the spot or predict the future in seconds? Well, guess what? That kind of power isn't just science fiction anymore.
It's called quantum computing, and it's on the verge of turning our world completely upside down. The potential impact on science, on medicine, and really our whole society is going to be massive. So let's break down what that actually means for all of us.
All right, let's get right into it. To really grasp where we're headed, we've got to first understand the roadblocks we're hitting right now. Why do we even need this crazy new type of computer in the first place?
Okay, so what's so cool about this slide is how simple the core difference really is. Every single device you use, from your phone to your laptop, runs on bits. Just think of them as tiny little light switches. They can be on or they can be off, a 1 or a 0, simple. But a quantum bit, or a qubit, completely shatters that rule. It can be a 1 and a 0 at the exact same time. That one little mind-bending fact, that's the secret sauce to everything.
So, how does this one weird trick, a qubit being two things at once, suddenly unlock all this incredible power? Well, this is where we have to take a little leap into the strange but amazing world of quantum mechanics.
It all comes down to a property called superposition. Here's a way to think about it. Imagine you flip a coin. While it's spinning in the air before it ever lands, is it heads or tails? You could say it's kind of both, right? That's the basic idea behind superposition. And because a qubit can explore being a 0 and a 1 at the same time, a quantum computer can explore a truly massive number of possibilities all at once. And here's where it gets, well, mind-bending. Just a few hundred of these qubits could process more possibilities at the same time than there are atoms in the entire known universe.
And listen, this is not some far-off, futuristic dream. Things are moving incredibly fast. Just recently, researchers proved that quantum systems could actually beat our best classical computers on really specific, useful problems. And just as important, they're making huge gains in error correction, which, by the way, is a huge deal because these qubits are super fragile. What this all means is that the tech is moving out of the lab and into the real world, fast.
Okay, so we've got this unbelievably powerful new tool. Now for the big question, what are we actually going to do with it? Let's look at how it's about to kick off a whole new era of discovery.
One of the most mind-blowing areas is medicine. You know, right now it can take more than a decade and billions of dollars to develop one new drug. A huge reason why is that it's just so hard to simulate how molecules will actually work. Quantum computers can model these things with a precision we've never had before. Imagine shrinking that discovery timeline from 10 years down to just a few months. We're talking about developing personalized cancer treatments or designing brand new antibiotics to fight off deadly superbugs.
Just let that sink in for a second. This isn't just about making things a little faster. It's about solving problems that have been impossible for generations, potentially saving millions and millions of lives.
But the ripple effects are going to hit almost everywhere. Think about finance. Quantum algorithms could optimize massive investment portfolios or spot financial risks in ways we can't even imagine today. Or what about logistics? They could solve puzzles like finding the absolute most efficient route for every package on the planet or perfectly optimizing an entire country's power grid.
And when we talk about the impact, the scale is just astronomical. We are not talking millions or even billions. We are talking about potential efficiency gains measured in the trillions of dollars. This means a less wasteful, more resilient, and more efficient world for every single one of us.
And maybe one of the most critical applications is tackling climate change. So many of our green energy hopes, from way better batteries and super efficient solar panels to brand new materials that can literally pull carbon out of the air, it all comes down to materials science. Quantum computers give us the power to design these new materials atom by atom, which could give us the breakthroughs we so desperately need.
And all of this brings us to our final and maybe the most important point. This incredible technology isn't something you can just watch from the sidelines. The quantum clock is absolutely ticking, and getting ready for this shift is something we have to think about right now.
So here's the big takeaway from all of this. The quantum revolution isn't some date on a calendar we're all waiting for. It's not coming. It's already here, rolling out in waves, and eventually it's going to touch every single industry on the planet.
In fact, a lot of industry leaders figure it'll take about 12 years just to fully adapt to things like new quantum-safe security. Now, that might sound like a long time, but in the world of technology and global business, that is practically tomorrow. The work to get ready has to start today.
It really all comes down to this: the organizations, the companies, the people who dive in now, who start learning, who start experimenting with this stuff, they're not just going to have an edge. They are going to be the ones who lead and define their fields for the next generation.
So, we'll leave you with this final thought. It is not a question of if quantum computing will transform the world. That's pretty much a done deal. The only real question left is, are you going to be ready for it?